2011 was a pretty important season for the Warriors. You've really hit your stride. How pivotal was that season for you?
Yeah, no, it was good. It was a really memorable year. I think it's hard to understand at the time, but we weren't consistent enough. Like we got there, but you tend to sort of, under high pressure in the biggest cauldron, it's the sides that's done it most consistently through the year, and I think that was Manly when we hit them and lost that. But definitely that experience, I think, held me in really good stead for the next times that I came to grand finals. Because I remember there's an old saying that you got to lose one to win one.
Do you believe in that? A lot don't, but some do.
I do, because there's no emptier feeling or no more lonely feeling than standing on that field after grand final siren and you've got beat. 2013,
like a season from heaven for the Roosters. Was that some of the best footy of your life?
It was. It was a little bit sort of shocked, because that was the year when I signed. I signed like 12 months before. I remember that sort of caused a bit of a stir back then. It was like one of the sort of early ones to sort of sign 12 months before I was coming, and I had some pretty handy other signings in Sonny Bill and Jennings. And
have you ever seen a game changer like SBW? Do you remember the hype around the signing?
He's a pretty impressive guy, and just the way he carries himself rubs off on the younger guys. You know, as I said, he's the ultimate professional.
How much do you remember about grand final day? And by the same token, thinking about when you were last there with the Warriors and you wanted to leave, this time with a premiership ring on your finger.
I remember having a conversation with Robbo when I knew we were in, and I just sort of said, mate, we need to keep the week as normal as possible. You know, you can do your celebrating once we actually get the trophy. There's no point celebrating being there.
Fans still talk about the controversial pass. Now so much
forward pass.
Was it forward to Mini?
Probably 1.5 metres forward. If you look on the video, but who cares? We won.
You won.
Unlucky Manly fans.
Williams gives it to Maloney. He's away. Williams chasing. Minicello is there, looking for one more. He finds Kenny Dowell. They go coast to coast off a piece of Sonny Bill Williams magic.
When you win a premiership, what did that prove to you as a player?
I remember, again, sitting back at the League Club afterwards. I was sitting with Sonny and talking to him, and I said to him, I was like, you know what it is? It's just a feeling of content. When you lose one, like having lost that one, you sort of, you know, it hurts. It's this horrible feeling, but then afterwards you sort of bring yourself out. You go, oh, but we had a good year, you know. We had a good year. You know, we did really good. You talk yourself up, but then you're sitting there drinking and you're like, but what if, you know, like it's just all there is this, but what if this, what if that? And then once it's done, there's no what ifs, you know, it's just, we did it.
The next stop on the Maloney Midas tour in the Shire, 2016. At what point did you look around at the season you guys were putting together and go, we could win this?
They just had such a good forward pack, like a seasoned forward pack that just give you consistency, and then they had some really exciting outside backs, you know, and I was like, I can just jump in the middle and piece this all together. Started the season, we're a little bit all over the shop. I think after that we sort of sat down and we sort of narrowed our focus, said, look, this is how do we need to play? We're sort of a bit all over the place at the moment. We need, what's our style of footy? And I think after that we nailed that, and then we just started getting on that roll. And I think we won 16 or something straight, and it was just, like they say, winning's contagious.
And that became the Sharks' trademark style of 2016, like just getting it done by any means possible, and didn't always have to be pretty or beautiful, but it suited you and it suited that playing group. You had such big personalities. Who was driving all those standards?
Yeah, I think we were very player-driven, obviously, because we did have a lot of senior guys, you know, that have done. You had Wade Graham, who was really important over there, you know, Wade, Mickey, Innes, Gal, Louis, Fafita. We just found a way to bring everyone's sort of best footy out.
Did you get the wobbles late? And there was I think it was the qualifying final Flanagan benched Chad Townsend in the final 20 minutes. It was a controversial call at the time, but can you give any more context around that? Because the shots of Chad sitting there on his own on the bench in such a big game in the broader sense of the season, just little things like that turned out to be exactly what you needed at the right time.
I don't remember why it was or what it was, but I remember driving home from Canberra and I picked up the phone, I called Chatty, and I said to him, mate, flush it. I said, you're our halfback, we need you. We can't afford you to go in second-guessing yourself next week or whatever, you know, you're our halfback.
That phrase, flush it, because you'll try something, mightn't work, doesn't matter, move on, flush it. Like, do you just erase the stuff that doesn't work and then try it again, fearless?
I find it funny when people ask me, because to me it's so logical. Like, I just don't see, like, no one can give you an advantage of worrying about it. Like, it's happened, good, bad, indifferent. Like, it's happened. You know, my mindset then goes to, okay, well, what can I do now to change it? If I make an error here, if I do something good here, well, then they cancel themselves out.
It's on balance.
Two good things, one bad thing, so I'm still up.
You're still ahead of the game. I've heard Michael Ennis talk about the captain's run on the eve of the decider, and he said it was the worst thing he's ever seen. Balls, every single ball hit the ground, not a single pass. Were you worried? Did you think they're all rattled here? We're cooked?
I was laughing. It was windy and that. I remember kicking up bombs for Fecky, and Fecky couldn't get close to him. Like, he was standing there and the ball's landed over there. And I was going, are you sweet, mate? What's doing? You know, I always find coaches, like, if you play bad on the weekend, they go, that's because you trained bad all week, you know. There's always an excuse. It can't just be just because you played shit on the weekend, you know, but they're always looking for a thing. But I think that, you know, I don't necessarily think a training session contributes to, you know, oh, geez, you had a bad session now, so you're going to play bad on the weekend, you know. Like, as I said, we'd set out, we had the building blocks of what we were doing for a long time, all through the season, ready to go, so.
It's such an historic decider, and it doesn't matter if you're a Sharks fan or not, everyone can appreciate the game for what it was, and you had such a good game. But again, coming back to what your dad said all those years ago, it comes down to these moments, and watching it, you know, Melbourne sort of right at the end, they had a shot. And if Chambers finds Cronk on the inside, we could be talking about a very different scenario. Or even if that final passage of play, if it goes through the hands and they're able to score.
Yeah.
Like, where were you watching that? Or did you think, oh, my God, this is it? Because they were, I think every fan went, this is it, Melbourne's going to win. Did you think the same?
I just remember it was coming across, and then I think whoever cut back in, and I thought I had him sweet, and then I mixed up, and then I missed him. So then my thing was like, oh, shit, I'll never forgive myself if they score here. But so then when they cut back across and they went, and then because we sort of had no one out there, and I was like, oh, geez, might be in trouble. But then as soon as they come back again, I knew we were sweet.
Smith keeps it going. Here's Cronk. Corabetti again. Runs towards Latelli. He takes the tackle. The Sharks finally have their hands on the trophy they've been seeking.
I think it added to the drama of it all, didn't it? Like, it, you know, being the first one and being such a momentous occasion, I think having a finish like that was cool. You know, you see all these fans and that talk about, and they go, oh, mate, like the feeling of that, and, you know, to sort of have everything on edge and do that to this final. Siren's gone, bang, here it is. Yeah.
By this stage, you've got a reputation as the trophy hunter. You want a winner, you go get Jimmy. Were you the gun for hire after all that?
Well, then I went to Penrith and we didn't win, so.
But you were there just before.
And then they won everything.
You would have seen the building blocks of this dynasty we've now watched in the last 3 years. Could you see that playing group and the potential they had at the time?
You know, I got there, they were really young, really keen, obviously plenty of talent. Like, they work really hard, and I think even from afar now, you sort of admire how hard they work.
Maloney the kick. Cleary follows through.
What makes Nathan Cleary different?
I think for the thing that I always was impressed with Nath, he's obviously got all the skills and understands footy and footy nows, but for someone who at such young age had so much praise and so much expectation put on him, he had a very honest and self-assessed, understood where his game was at. You know, I think it's easy when everyone's talking about how good you are and that to sort of, oh yeah, sweet. But he always knew exactly where he was at, and he was always working to improve areas and different things, you know. And I think that was really impressive.
Did you FaceTime him in 2020 when they won?
Yeah, I think so.
On Mad Monday?
I think I've FaceTimed a few of the boys on the bus and that when they were winning, because my kids and that, especially the kids, they used to love it. So when we were over there, I didn't really watch any footy. Only footy I watched was Origin. So, and then the semis and that, and the kids were all... Remember the first couple of the kids were buzzing and that, so I was like, yeah, they're on the bus.
Is Nathan Cleary their favourite player?
Well, he used to be Ethan's, my third, which was so funny because when I started at the Warriors, Nath was ball boy, and Jet, like Nath's little brother, he would have only been like 3 or 4, and I used to be his favourite. And then swings and roundabouts, come back, and I end up back with Ivan, playing with Nath, and then Ethan used to just adore Nath. So, so it's funny how it all works out.